So hello, today let's talk about change, about taking a company that's been around for 75 years and turning it inside out. So this is story about 7-Eleven in early 2000s. A story led by its CEO Jim Case, but is driven by an entire organization trying to reinvent itself. So in May 2004, Jim Case is flying his plane. He's saying, uh, flying is a great distraction. You can't think about anything else when you're in cockpit. But on the ground, he has a lot on his mind. Since the year 2000, he's been leading what he calls the retailer initiative, a complete overhaul of how 7-Eleven operates, and it's working. Earnings are up. Some store some store sales have grown 29 straight quarters. Uh, the stock price has nearly doubled in 2 years, and there's a sense of rebirth, but it's slow and steadily rebuilt. And like any big change, it comes with big challenge. And to understand this transformation, uh, we need to look at the 7-Eleven operation. So the convenience store industry is huge. It's over 290 million dollar in sales in 2002, but it's also incredibly fragmented. Of the 132,000 convenience stores in US, uh, 16% are a single store owner. It's an industry built on convenience, location, and speed. But it's also known as uh, no, it's also known for in inefficiency. Yeah, stores carry very wide but shallow inventories, maybe just for bottle of ketchup at a time. Supply chains are messy, and in and in no, and since 1999, the industry has been consolidating with uh, s- smaller chains going bankrupt for bankrupt or being bought. Uh, in this world, 7-Eleven is a giant with a hun- 500 stores in the US and Canada, is over 90,000 more around the world. It's the largest corporate player, but it doesn't make change. But this doesn't make change easy. 7-Eleven story start in 1920, 1927 as the Southland Ice Company. It's become Totem Store, Totem Stores, and then in 1946 it got the name we all know, 7-Eleven, for its new hour, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. It grew fast, added gas station, went global, but in 1980s, it made a costly mistake. It tried to do everything. It bought an oil company, Chitco. It got into dairy farming. So in the result, just Jim Case bought it. We are uh, we were great retailers, but terrible refiners and dairy farmers. Tape mounted. In 1990, 1990, the company filed for bankruptcy. Chevrolet came from Japan. A company called uh, EYG Holding, formed by Ito, Ito Yokado and 7-Eleven Japan, power and controlling stake. They brought focus. And in 1999, the corporation finally changed its name from the Southland Corporation to 7-Eleven. Yeah, it was returned to basics, but uh, the basics were not enough. The old way of doing business was broken. So the retailer initiative was born, and it started with one of the most fundamental part of any retail business, the supply chain. Before the change, imagine this: every supplier, uh, the soda company, the snack company, the bread company would deliver directly each 7-Eleven to directly to each 7-Eleven store, maybe once a week. The parking lots were full of trucks. Each store had to keep week's work, which a week worth of inventory. It was expensive, took up space, and mean products were not very fresh. So, what's the solution? Is Combined Distribution Center, CDGS. 7-Eleven built 23 of these strategic warehouses across the United States. Uh, each one can serve up to 700 stores, all within a 90-minute drive. No, fresh product called to the CDC first. The CDC combines order from many different suppliers and loads them into a single truck, which make one of which make one efficient delivery to the store. Uh, so inventory cost drop, freshness improve, and efficiency soared. This new system gave store managers, the retailers, more control and better information. But not everyone was happy. Big suppliers like Coca-Cola and Pepsi have their own massive distribution network. They control shelf space in stores, which give them power. Uh, they were they were reluctant to give that up and use 7-Eleven CDC system. It's an ongoing battle, but the company believes the efficiency is so compelling that even the big players will uh, eventually come around. Efficiency moving products is one thing. Knowing that what products to move is another. This is where technology changed the game. 7-Eleven did not want a fully automated system that removed human judgment. Instead, it gave store manager powerful tools, and online system lets them order product, create reports, and manage track their performance compared to other store. They get weather for forecast to help predict demand. They have data to see what's selling and what's not. So this data is revolutionary, revolutionary. It lets 7-Eleven spot trends in real time, and the company can know within a day or two if a new product is a hit. It help it help with everything from uh, deciding deciding where to open new store to creating new product. And product innovation is a huge part of the strategy. Convenience, not just low price, is 7-Eleven's main selling point. This allows for creativity. Uh, yeah, this allows for creativity. And the company sells 30 million cup of coffee in a month. Over 11 million suppliers. Slower place, but it also creates a hundred. No, it also creates a hundred, a thousand and a thousand and 500 to 200 private label products every year. Uh, some are uh, some are big successes like new snake lines or menthol gum introduced from Japan. Some are experiment like disposable DVD called EZD that works for only 48 hours. Some don't work at first, like the San Diego beer brand, which had to be pulled and reformulated. The key is constant trying, testing, and learning. But all of this, the supply chains, the technology, the products, depends on people, and that is perhaps the most difficult challenge of all. 7-Eleven has three three types of stores: corporate runs, franchised, franchised, and internationally licensed. The franchise model is especially important. Especially important. Franchises are franchises are independent owners who who invest their own money and sweat. They have skin in the game. Historically, historically, they were more successful than corporate store. But now, as the company pushes new system and requirement, some franchises are resistant. Yeah. They feel the corporation is taking away their independence. To address this, 7-Eleven introduced a new franchise agreement. It offers a 50 split of gross profit, which is better for the franchise. But in the return, franchise must contribute to advertising and agree to order most of their products from the company's recommended list. It's a delicate balance between control and partnership. Then there are the hourly employees in an industry with over 100% annual turnover. How do you build a motivated workforce? 7-Eleven is trying to through training programs, a university for store manager, and even a scholarship foundation called Education is Freedom for employees and their families. The message is that working at 7-Eleven can be a step towards something greater. The company is also consciously trying to change its customer base. Traditionally, the core customer was blue collar man, but with service like Pay at the pump gas, more than half of the customer at the gas pump are now women. The product mix is subtly shifting, adding fresh, healthier options uh, alongside the traditional beer and snack to attract a broader demographic. Yeah. So, where is 7-Eleven headed? Growth is a major focus. In the US, the company is adopting an urban strategy, looking beyond expensive street corners to places like airports and unconventional location. The goal is to add hundreds of new stores each year. Internationally, the model is licensing partners in other countries, um, operate stores under the 7-Eleven brand. Japan is the stunning success story with over 10,000 stores that are clean, efficient, and packed with high quality product. The company sees similar potential in China, South America, and beyond. But challenge alone, the company's balance sheet is still highly leveraged. Gasoline sales, which make up the 31% of revenue, are subject to volatile prices. Tobacco, the top-selling product category, faces increasing regulation and health corners. Transformation is going. Jim Gas, he said, the sky's limit. The sky, the sky is the limit in terms what we can create. But he also sees cold on the horizon. The resistance from big suppliers and the complicates of managing thousands of franchises and employees, and right the search for the right people to lead the next space, like a human resource director who can truly understand how to differentiate 7-Eleven as place to work. So this is the story of 7-Eleven, not a simple story of success or failure, but complex, ongoing story of adaptation. It's about taking a legacy brand and rebuilding its piece by piece supply chain, product, technology, and people in a fiercely competitive and ever-changing industry. Thank you.